Silence has a sound. It hums when people pretend you do not exist. It echoes in hallways where eyes slide past you like glass. And on that Monday morning, inside the polished offices of Harrington & Co., silence wrapped itself around one man pushing a gray janitor's cart. His name was Elias Moore. To most people in the building, he was not a man at all. He was background, a moving shadow in worn gloves, the one who emptied trash cans after meetings about millions, the one who wiped coffee rings left by people who never learned his name. Elias wore a faded blue uniform. His shoes were clean but old. His posture was calm, almost too calm, like someone who had learned long ago not to react. When employees passed him, they did not say good morning. Some did not even step aside. A young executive laughed loudly near the elevators and said, "Careful, don't trip over the help." His friends laughed with him. Elias did not look up. He pushed the cart forward, slow and steady. What no one knew was that this was not his building. Not really. The company occupied 40 floors of glass and steel in downtown Chicago. On paper, it was run by a board of powerful men and women. In reality, it was controlled by money, and a large portion of that money belonged to one silent investor whose name never appeared in public reports. That investor was Elias Moore. But no one knew that yet. Not the executives, not the assistants, not even Clara Reynolds, the woman who would soon change everything. Clara worked on the 27th floor. She was a project coordinator, mid-level, smart, overworked, and tired of watching bad behavior go unchecked. She noticed things others ignored, like how Elias always cleaned her floor last, or how meetings ended, and people left their mess behind as if someone else existed only to erase them. That morning, Clara watched a senior manager toss an empty cup into a trash can. Elias had just lined with a fresh bag. The cup missed. Coffee splashed onto the floor. The manager glanced at Elias and said, "You'll get that." No apology. No eye contact. Something tightened in Clara's chest. "Excuse me," she said, standing up. "You dropped that." The manager frowned. It's his job. Elias finally looked up. His eyes were steady, dark, observant. "It's all right," he said quietly. Clara shook her head.
"No, it's not."
The room went still for a moment. A few co-workers stared. Someone coughed. The manager rolled his eyes and walked away. Elias knelt to clean the spill. "Thank you," he said softly, not looking at her. Clara watched him work. His movements were careful, precise, not rushed. There was dignity in the way he folded the rag. "You don't deserve that," she said. Elias gave a small smile. "People do what they think they can." That sentence stayed with her all day. By noon, rumors were already floating. The janitor on 27 thinks he's special. "Did you hear someone defended him?" Clara laughed, thinking it was a joke. "Well, you're very calm for someone surrounded by chaos." "I've seen louder rooms," he said. She did not ask where. Across the building, something else was happening. The board had scheduled a closed-door meeting for Friday. A mysterious agenda item had appeared with no explanation. Executives were tense. Emails went unanswered. Whispers followed every step. Someone powerful was watching. Elias knew this because he had scheduled the meeting himself. The janitor's cart rolled, past glass offices filled with people who thought they were untouchable. Elias listened as he worked. He observed patterns. Who disrespected whom? Who spoke when power entered the room? Who stayed silent? Especially who stayed silent. By the end of the day, Clara watched Elias leave, pushing his cart toward the service elevator. "See you tomorrow," she said. He nodded. Yes, tomorrow. She had no idea that tomorrow would be the last day he wore that uniform, and no one in that building had any idea that the man they ignored was deciding their future. Not heavy, not loud, tight, like a room holding its breath without knowing why. Elias Moore arrived at 6 a.m., same as always. Same uniform, same cart, same calm face. But something had shifted. He could feel it. Power always moves before people notice it. On the 27th floor, Clara was already at her desk. She looked tired. Dark circles under her eyes. A half-finished report open on her screen. "Morning," she said when she saw Elias. "Good morning," he replied. She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "People are talking about yesterday." He nodded. "They usually do." "That shouldn't be normal," she said. Elias met her eyes. "It doesn't have to stay normal." She did not know why, but that sentence sent a chill through her. At 9:30 a.m., the incident happened. A group of senior executives were touring the floor with a potential client. Suits, smiles, handshakes. That meant nothing. Elias was mopping near the conference room entrance, careful to stay out of the way. One executive, Mark Delaney, stopped suddenly. "Who told him to clean now?" Mark snapped, pointing at Elias like he was an object left out of place. Elias paused. "I can move if you'd like." Mark scoffed. "You people are always in the way." The hallway went silent. Clara stood up so fast her chair scraped loudly against the floor. "Excuse me," she said. "That was unnecessary." Mark turned, surprised. "This is a client meeting." "And that's a human being," she replied. The client shifted uncomfortably. Phones came out. Someone whispered, "Careful." Mark's face flushed. "Stay in your lane." Elias quietly stepped back, giving them space. He did not argue. He did not raise his voice. But he looked at Mark for a long moment. "Not angry, assessing." Mark laughed nervously and continued walking. But the damage was done. The balance of power had shifted, and it was only the beginning. Exec fired after humiliating staff. Screens across the city flashed Elias Moore's face, calm and unreadable. Reporters crowded the building. Social media tore through every clip, every angle, every whispered story that employees had kept buried for years. Inside the company, everything cracked open. Mark Delaney was escorted out by security, his box of belongings shaking in his hands. No one clapped. No one defended him. The same executives who once laughed at his jokes now stared at the floor. Elias stood in his office, finally using it for the first time. Floor-to-ceiling windows, city below, silence above. Clara knocked softly. "You asked to see me?" Elias turned, offering a chair. "Thank you for coming." She sat, posture stiff. "I didn't do anything special." "You did," he said. "You spoke when staying quiet was safer." He slid a folder across the desk. Inside were documents, proposals, and a single contract. "Head of Internal Culture Review," he said. "Direct access to me." "Full authority." Clara's eyes widened. "I'm not qualified." Elias smiled faintly. "You're exactly qualified." She hesitated. "Why me?" "Because power reveals who people are," he replied. "But choice reveals who they choose to be." Outside the office, chaos reigned. Executives resigned. Policies were rewritten. Anonymous testimonies poured in. For the first time, people felt heard. That evening, Elias walked through the building again. Not as a janitor, not as a billionaire, just as a man watching consequences settle. Employees stopped him, thanked him, apologized. One woman whispered, "I didn't know how to help." Elias nodded. "Now you do." As night fell, the building emptied. Only Clara remained, packing her things slowly. Elias watched her from a distance, thoughtful. He had come here with a reason deeper than business. Years earlier, after a brutal divorce fueled by greed and image, Elias had made a promise to himself. He would never again choose a partner who loved the title more than the truth. So he removed the title. He scrubbed floors, listened, observed. He watched how people treated those with nothing to offer. And now, standing in the quiet office, he realized something unexpected. He wasn't just fixing a company. He was seeing humanity clearly again. And Clara, unknowingly, had passed the test he never told anyone about. The final decision still waited. Section 5. The Revelation, the Wedding, and the Lesson. The company healed faster than anyone expected. 3 months passed. Harrington & Co. changed from the inside out. New leadership rose. Policies became practice. People spoke without fear. Respect was no longer a slogan on a wall. It was enforced in meetings, in emails, in tone. Clara thrived. She questioned systems. She challenged executives twice her age.